So go up to Tennessee. They have like quarter comics.
We have quarter bins and methamphetamines. You do some meth, you can look for comics for a long time.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
I'm in such a
What did I
fucking
walk
mood.
into?
This is the show. This is the. So I just want to say thank you very much to all of our viewers. This is obviously our last show, and
reminder: this is TVMA, and this is why we have to throw this graphic up pretty often.
Not Near Mint is a show designed for audiences over the age of 18. If you're a viewer under the age of 18, please stop watching Not Near Mint. It's not that we don't want you as a fan. It's just that we'll probably get in trouble if you watch us.
Yeah.
Shall we begin?
Let's begin.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Not Near Mint. It is December the 9th, 2020, New Comic Book Wednesday. Well, we wound up getting a second print of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin. Did we need it? Did we need it to be so damn large all over again? They couldn't have shrunk it. They didn't, but oh well. What we did get, though, is a brand new series of iCarly that nobody particularly asked for, but that's coming, along with some new movies and stuff that will probably not make it to TV. Well, it'll make it to TV, probably not the theaters. Let's say hi to our cast. We only have Miracleman tonight, which let's say hi.
Hello, hello. You only have Miracleman, but I promise I'm going to give you 3 times the Miracleman action this evening.
Which means he has a lot of books to show tonight. And Comics on the Mind will be joining us a little later. Lady Fantastic is taking the week off this week just to get a little bit of rest, keep away from some people, so that way when she comes back recharged, she'll be telling you about how to go shop, not on meth, which, by the way, kids, don't do drugs, or if you do, make sure you know who you're getting your shit from, kids. Let's say hi to Patrick. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, so let him pronounce his last name. Patrick.
Buermeyer. Buermeyer's a tough one.
It's not like Smith. Jones.
Well, it's like Smith is like your tier 1 last name. Buermeyer's tier 2-5 or something.
2-5. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I have literally nothing that I can say judgmental about anybody's last name because my last name is worst.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
It fits, though. It's appropriate.
You seem lovely to me. I don't know.
So we hear that you have a new project. Both myself and Miracleman, we just got in the mail just this week. How about you show yours and I show mine?
Showing them off.
There you go.
You know, normally this game is more fun. I love that cover. Love that cover.
I'm glad you guys got him in time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, super happy to get it.
Yeah, I was asking Miracleman whether or not I should have posted this for advertising tonight, and he's like, hold off and use it for Friday. I'm like, wait, did I just misunderstand that? Are we going to be doing another interview somewhere else? Or should I let people know, by the way, we had an interview. We had it over on Wednesday. Check out the interview. Check out another interview. And here's the book.
I think I miscommunicated. We'll touch base on that a little bit later, though. Anyway, so yeah, I got to read it. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. For our viewers and listeners, you know, if you're wondering what Discordia was like, and I hate to do comparisons, but to try and give you a kind of a comparison. Niels and Temple Smith. That very strong vibes. and I'm sure I said their last names wrong too. I didn't fuck up Temple Smith. How do
I
you
think
fuck up
that's
Temple
right.
Smith? That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Niels, Niles. I don't Nails. I don't know what his name
It
is.
could be Niles. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Y'all comic book.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, fun fact: the first convention that I ever went to, I was like 2 alleys away from Ben Templesmith, and it was pretty sweet. I was like geeking out on it a little bit. Yeah, it was fun. He's a pretty cool guy. Had a good chat with him.
Cool. Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
I totally understand you're geeking out. I got followed by Gail Simone on Twitter, and I absolutely went squee and threw my phone. I turned into a 13-year-old teenage girl real fast.
No, that makes sense. That makes absolute sense.
Yeah, very cool.
But, for all of you comic book folks out there, you know who I'm talking about. This is the team that brought us 30 Days a Night and so many other dark horror comics. And, the between the art and the storytelling style, it very, very, very much gave me those types of vibes. Really fun. A whole bunch of little vignettes. Wasn't one long story. Gave us little tastes all around the world. So really, really enjoyed it. And now that it's out, you're working on the next one, right?
Yeah. So we have a second Kickstarter. We have another Kickstarter up now, and I guess to piggyback off of the vignettes, we're going to continue doing that because the next issue of Discordia will be issue 1. So this was issue 0, and we did all those vignettes to do some world building. And then specifically the last vignette in issue 0 is a direct lead into issue 1. So spoilers if anyone's read it and hasn't guessed that yet. But we also really liked doing, Chris and I, the writer, both really enjoyed doing shorts. Yeah, very cool. Especially because it is like a dark horror type story. I think shorts are a really good medium for horror, and so we wanted to keep doing that. And so we're launching another 2 titles, which are so the Kickstarter is for 2 different titles, one of which is just a 1 story, 1 issue, a 1 shot, and then the other one is a compilation of short stories. So that are going to be set in the world of Discordia. So it allows us some room to keep doing crazy, nutty horror shorts like in this first issue, but then we can continue to push forward with our ongoing story for the main series. So yeah, very exciting. It's called The Rotted Liar is one, and then Apocrypha is the second. So if anyone has picked this up yet and liked it, go ahead and check that out on Kickstarter.
All right. And Miracleman, do you happen to have the share screen so that the audience can take a look at that?
Oh yeah, give me 1 second. Let me get that up. And you know what? We've done this so many times. I might actually get this right the first time through this time.
So as you're getting that set up, we have a question here from Whack Comics that where is Lady and Kirk? Lady is taking the week off this week. We still don't know whether or not we're going to be doing a show together this coming Friday or Saturday night, but she just needs some time. She's a little bit under the weather, so just let her have some time to breathe. And then she'll come back resurrected like the Phoenix. Kirk will be joining us later this episode. Meanwhile, we also have Miracleman's share screen.
And is it Sharon? Are we sharing?
You're good.
All right. So here you go, everybody. Here's the Kickstarter we're talking about tonight. And how do you pronounce that first title?
I think it's Liar, The Rotted Liar. I think.
See, now I said before the show backstage, Patrick and I were talking about it, and I said Lear, The Rotted Lear. I don't know what's right. Patrick may very well be correct on this.
I think I'm going with Liar, but I do the art, not the writing. I wasn't an English major, so I really couldn't tell you.
If you know out there in the chat, let us know. Lear or Liar. And you know how to spell it. Don't act like you can't figure out how to spell it in the chat to tell us. All right. But tell us a little bit more about these, my friend.
So there's 2 individual books. So with the Kickstarter, you're going to get 2 floppies, which probably aren't going to be quite as big individually as the Discordia issue 0, because we ended up on issue 0 doing a decent amount of stretch goals, and so we really packed a couple of extra short stories in there. I think it's almost a prestige book. I think in the end it's like almost 50, almost 60 pages. Yeah. But these 2, The Rotted Liar is illustrated folklore, poems, and then like folklore and poems set in the world. So we follow a character who is discovering these stories and then having some supernatural interactions as he's reading and learning about these stories. So it's pretty creepy, pretty fun one. The other cool thing about that is that we have 3 guest artists who are coming in and doing one of each of the shorts, and then I do like the framing of the narrative. So I do like the prologue and the epilogue of the Rotted Liar, which is really cool. It's really fun to get to work collaboratively in comics, because I think it's a medium that really supports it. Ooh, jeez.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that, absolutely. One of the best things that you get out of that is, you know, you get these little bit different looks. Even when you draw on the same thing, no artist draws the same thing as another artist.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see. It's really cool to see other people's takes on, you know, on stuff that I've helped to create. It's really fulfilling as a creator.
And so that's the Rotted Liar Apocrypha here.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be your one shot, huh?
Yep. So this one's called Little Baby Blue, and it follows a family in one of the eastern countries of Discordia, and it's set, for anyone who's following the timeline stuff at all, it's set during the reign of the Concord, so it's before the fall.
Okay.
And yeah, so this is our winter themed one. So we've got, it's not exactly a Krampus, but it's kind of in that vein. So we've got kind of some dark fairy tale action going on there, which should be really fun. I'm working on that one. That one's just me. We don't have any guest artists on that one. So yeah.
So just so everybody knows, Gratuitous Sax, my friend here in the chat, he did confirm it's Liar, and I would trust Sax. So
okay.
I apologize. I haven't had it wrong. It was not Lear, like you're watching somebody in a bikini. It's Liar, like you talk some shit. All right.
Both negative connotations though, which isn't
right.
Yeah,
right.
Interesting.
Not great.
Just like I'd kind of have to wonder if somebody actually plays a real liar in real life. If someone goes, "I'm playing my Lear," the professional will just look at you with contempt and disdain.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
So I like the design of this creature. It's got a little Sasquatch, maybe a little mole rat tail going on there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's take a look at the pledge levels here, everybody. So for those of you who like digital comics, you can get one of each of the issues there, $5 a piece, or you can get both for looks like $8. Nice deal there. Print editions.
Some of y'all out there, you wound up paying today at least $10 for this DC multiverse. I'm sure you're going to get a whole lot more out of something that's creator owned than perhaps this. But I don't know. I could be wrong.
Listen,
I hope so.
I would normally 100% go with you on that, but you just talk shit on a book with Captain Carrot on the comic.
There's like 1,000 creators
so,
on that one. How about
I'm just saying, I might drive to your house.
Good night, everybody.
And we're off the rails. So
we held on to it as long as we could.
No, I absolutely do agree. Yeah, really. What are we, 8 minutes in? I wholeheartedly agree. You know, I'm just going to say it flat out. Sometimes you back a Kickstarter and you're like, how's this going to be when it comes out? Yeah. You know, there's no lore backing it. There's no Bible. There's no editors. And a lot of these books, I mean, I don't know how you did it, but a lot of these books end up being self-edited. So, you occasionally see some stuff that doesn't quite align. And,
sure.
But when I got Discordia #0, I was genuinely impressed by it. The story was really good. Everything flowed really well. So I 100% agree. You know, if you're going with one of these books, guys, you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck.
So I'm going to show everybody right now, not my address, because I have a very bad tendency of doing that when I don't mean to. So this is what you will get if you sign up for Discordia. When you receive it, you're not going to get it in an envelope without a bag and a board. Everything came back and boarded. It was inside of a Gemini mailer, and it was in perfect condition when I received it. I wish that more companies would do this, and by seeing that a self-published company like this would do it, I have more faith in this than I do in some others, and I could name quite a few companies at this point.
Wow,
Yeah,
right.
all the props have to go to Chris on the shipping. He was very meticulous and did some research and took care of that. He was very, very careful to make sure everybody's stuff got to them in one piece, which I'm glad to see that it did, and I'm glad you guys liked it. I mean, that's the at the end of the day, that's all you can really that's all you can really hope for, is that people reading it like it.
Right. Well, you want to connect with people, and that's what a good comic does. It connects with you, makes you want to read more about it, and this one absolutely did that.
Very cool. Very cool.
So, this Discordia, that was your first comic, right?
No, so it actually wasn't even Chris and I's first collaborative comic. So the year before, we did another book through Dark Tidings Press, which was set in Chris's in the same world as Chris's fantasy series. So before Chris was doing comics, he's written, I want to say it's at least 3, but it might be 4 novels. Fantasy novels. And so we did a spin-off of one of the characters that appeared in one of his novels as a comic. And so we did do a Kickstarter for that, and we did okay. But we had I don't know, it was just like we had some kinks to work out. But we did, and after we finished on that, Chris approached me again and was like, well, it was fun working on this comic, and I've always wanted to do a horror one, and I think it would really fit your style. So we did, and that was issue 0. We started working on that probably almost 2 years ago as well. Like, some of it overlapped with the end of what we were doing on Tarnished, that we did the first one, because we had also put some of the shorts up on Webtoon as well, just to sort of like build up a little bit of a viewership or a reader base. Before launching the Kickstarter.
Sorry, my headset cut out on me there in the last instance. I apologize.
Oh no, you're good.
I didn't even hear what you had said at the very end there. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. I can't remember what I was saying. Chris and I did another book before.
Okay. Yes. I did catch that.
Okay.
I mean, that's great. I did
4 books.
Yes. I caught that part. I caught all that.
Perfect.
So it sounds like you're learning a little bit more with each foray into the self-published comic world.
Yeah, I think so. And I hope that that's what's coming through in issue 0, and why it has a very good, like, it has a professional feel and is it's fun to read.
Yeah.
I've done a handful of other stuff as well. I did a book with Marcosia, and some shorts and anthology work and stuff over the last couple of years leading up to that. But Tarnished was definitely the longest book that I had done. And yeah.
So all I gotta say is this Whitebeard
quick,
character here.
We have
go
one
ahead.
person joining us.
Oh, let's go.
Comics on the Mind.
What up, everybody? Sorry I'm late.
What's up?
Hello, Comics on the Mind. Thanks for joining us this evening, my friend.
Of course. I love this cover, Whitebeard.
I was just gonna say I want to know more about this fella.
Me too. Unfortunately, this is one of the stories that I'm not working on, and I have not read this. I purposely didn't read the script for any of these because I'm looking forward to reading them myself.
Very nice.
But yeah, I love the cover on that one.
This
And
is
for
who
those
shows
of-
up when Sam dies.
And it looks like here we got a pretty cool looking variant cover.
Yeah, so that's a variant cover for Little Baby Blue.
Nice. All right.
Nice.
There's our funky critter. And for those of you who maybe missed Discordia, I know a lot of you were here when we had the team on before. But in case you missed it, It looks like you can get.
18 episodes ago.
That was a while. Holy cow!
Oh yeah.
Our
Yeah.
very first guest on this
And
show.
Rob, you have the cover
Yes.
I want.
Yes. Our very first guest on the show was Discordia in episode 50. Before that,
Right.
our first guest that I ever did was my first guest period on the show, which was Rena Brown. And it was because Rena that we got Lady Fantastic, and then later on Miracleman, and then later on Comics on the Mind.
Right.
So this has been a guest show from the beginning. We just didn't know it.
So yeah, folks, if you missed out on it, here you go. You get another opportunity. What is this Henrik Rosenborg cover here? This looks awesome.
Yeah, so that was the last one. We added that late because it was a stretch goal. So that one is a cover of one of the characters from the last story, The Faces of God, which is the one, spoilers, that is a lead-in into the ongoing series in issue 0, or in issue 1 rather.
I was going to say, if you didn't give us more out of that story, I would have been mad at you. I would have written some hate tweets. So I'm glad that we're getting that, because it looked good. It looked like a good story. So anyway, Rob, you got any other questions, sir?
Yeah. So knowing that you're a creator, that you work on comics, what does Patrick Buermeyer, I hope I pronounced that right finally this time, the first time you actually tried.
No, that was good. You got it.
Finally. Woo. Okay. Is there anything that you've been reading lately? Is there anything that inspires you? What do you like to read, comic oriented?
So unfortunately, and I feel like I run into this problem whenever I talk to anybody about making comics, is I don't find that I have that much time to read comics anymore. So I tend to fall back on the classics. I'm a big Mignola fan as far as kind of horror in comics goes, but that's it's sort of so classic and almost doesn't count. A little bit more contemporary stuff. I like. I really like Black Science. With Image. Joe Golem's pretty cool too. That's like the Outerverse for that's Mignola as well. But yeah, I also Chris, the writer for Discordia, just lent me The Plot, which I have yet to pick up, but I promise that I will do. It looks really good. The art's great, and Chris says that the story. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I heard good things on it.
He heard good things.
Oh yes, cool. And then Autumnal is the other one that I really want to read. But I kind of have a problem with comics where I always want to grab them in a trade, because I like to sit and read like the story start to finish. I don't like waiting week to week to pick up floppies. And I've heard that is less good for creators, because it's better business wise if you're selling the single issues. So I apologize to everybody who I read that I'm denying them their floppy sales, but that's just how I like
to put it this way. When Donny Cates was trying to put out my favorite of his work, and this was back when no one knew who he was, it was called Buzzkill. It was supposed to be 12 issues long, but because no one was reading it, it was 4 issues. Imagine if you were going, well, it's by this writer that I like, but I'll wait for it for the trade. Well, you could have gotten a 12-issue series, but you didn't buy
but now it's a mini series. Yeah, for sure. Now, so I'm a bad comics reader, but
that's why there's people like us over here to make sure we pick up the floppies.
Well, yeah, you need to represent in the Hall of Justice there. Yeah.
You brought up Buzzkill, and I don't want to kill Patrick's time here real quick, but an even more egregious example of that was a book called Sex. You guys familiar with that book?
Not.
They ran like 35 issues, and I swear to God, I was just about to give up on it, because I was like, I can't even tell where the story's going. It feels like the same thing has happened for the last 28 of these 35 issues. Right. And they it was 34 issues it ran. And when it got to the 34th, in fact, I was so bored with it, the last 3 issues I had just left in my bin at the LCS. I hadn't picked it up yet. And I finally picked it up and I read it. And I noticed issue 34 had the same cover as issue 1. And I was like, that's peculiar. That's usually when a series ends. And Sure enough, they ended it. And the reason they ended it was because their trade sales were excellent. And they were just going to start putting them out in trades. And we have never seen a book again.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it does happen from time to time.
Sometimes comics is much like life. We have to enjoy what we get when we get it, because you never know when it might not be there anymore.
That's
Fair
true.
enough.
That's true.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So I want to have like one more question. Unless you have another question, I do want to know what is going on in Patrick's world come 2021.
I don't know. I mean, we've got a decent amount more lined up for Discordia. So issue 1 of Discordia, we're looking to do on Kickstarter January, I think. Fingers crossed. I guess it could be February, depending on how things shake out. But yeah, that's the immediate plan. Yeah, I got to finish all of this first, though. Got to finish all of Apocrypha first.
So step-by-step process. Do you have anything else, Miracleman?
No, I think that's just about everything I had for tonight.
All right. And Comics on the Mind, I know you're just joining us. Do you have any burning questions?
Not real, unless you talked about artist inspired you. That's. I think you guys answered asked all the questions.
Yeah, artist
Did you guys hear me?
inspiration, writer
No,
inspirations.
Artist inspirations. I did a research paper, like my junior year in college or something, on Sean Murphy, who did. He's doing White Knight right now for DC, and what I was reading at the time was Punk Rock Jesus. I mean, I did a research paper on that, and that was hugely inspirational for me. As far as I didn't really realize that people could do that kind of storytelling and art that looked like that in comics. I had kind of fallen out of it. Like, I guess through my teenage years, I had read comics as a kid, but then hadn't really been following them. And so, yeah, that was really cool. It was really inspirational and just like eye-opening to see what people could and were doing with the medium.
You know, that's kind of like how
Nice.
so Comics on the Mind is a bit younger than us, but so Miracleman and I were on the bit of the elderly side of comic collecting. And back in the 90s, if you were reading superhero books and you were getting bored by the extreme stuff, you're going, you know what? I think I might give up on comics. Somebody just goes, shut up and read this. Well, what's this? It's called Sandman.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know they could do stuff like this. And then you realize comic books is the type of art form that you can be given an unlimited budget. You can tell any story you want to tell within 4 colors, and even more, you have computers. So you can do whatever story you want to do. There is nothing holding you back. And really, that just makes me love comics that much more.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman, as far as writer inspiration, I would say he's right up there. I really think one of my favorite books in just either comics or novels is American Gods. I read that. Probably also read that when I was in college, actually, and just loved it.
Yeah, that was one where I started back when I was in middle school, finished in high school, where the first 8 issues, I didn't get those because I was too young. It was issue 21, I think, was my first issue, and I was given a chance by my parents. Letterman jacket for playing football or the first 8 issues of Sandman. Guess what I chose?
Guess the Letterman jacket, huh? Yeah, I suppose that makes sense at the time.
I want to get comics, and I still have them to this day.
Okay. I would have taken the Letterman jacket when I was in high school.
I still have
I'm
one.
afraid to say.
I got one. I could not tell you where it is. Not even open. So, Patrick, I know that you're going to be sticking around with us for the rest of the episode. We're going to be showing some new hauls, new Comic Book Wednesdays, but we always give the guests the last word. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on social media, on the YouTubes, on the Twitters, on the Facebooks, on wherever. You get the last word.
Sweet. Yeah, so you can follow me I'm on all the social medias. But as we were chatting about backstage, if you want to just see my art stuff and not me griping about politics with people, just go and follow me on my my Instagram, which is Patrick BUER Art on Instagram. That's pretty fun. And yep, I'm also on Twitter and Facebook. I don't have YouTube yet, but maybe in the future. We'll see.
All right. Well, we thank you so very much for coming, not just coming, but coming early and chatting with us beforehand. Sometimes people are able to do that. Sometimes people pop on about 2 minutes right as we're starting to broadcast and go, do we have a guest tonight? I don't know. Guess what? Oh, there they are.
Maybe. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the Zoom landscape we live in nowadays, huh?
Right. Right. We'll all be experts at this video conference game by the end of 2020. I'll say that for sure.
I'm waiting for holographic Zoom sessions.
Where's Jedi Council Room action going on?
I'm thinking next gen Star Trek Next Generation Hollow Room shit, man. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Nice. That's nice.
Right here, so I can be lying in bed. I just press the temple of my head, close my eyes, and go, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
Beam it directly into your psyche. Yeah.
Well, yeah, microchip the shit out of me, man.
I don't want to have to remember this shit.
Well, you might imagine if you lose your password to your brain thing, though. Like resetting that password is going to be a bitch.
You do, and if there are microchips,
delete it.
I can't remember childhood. I can't remember childhood.
Yeah, for comic book nerds,
Middle school.
That's usually good. That's usually good for comic book nerds. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean that's basically Ghost in the Shell, right? That's when people can hack your microchips.
Yeah, pretty much. That's right. That's it. That's it.
Good old singularity.
All right, I think we're at that point of the show where I could probably ask that question. What did you pick up this week?
Some things and some stuff and some stuff and some things.
Well, you were a little bit late, so I'm kind of worried. Did you hit the shop?
Well, number one, you should never open your mouth. And I should know. I'm a teacher. Because they go in pits.
That might be rule number 3 or 5 or 26. Not rule 32, and definitely not rule number 1.
Don't die. Trust me, I didn't die today.
There's always tomorrow.
The week. All right, Kirk. What'd you pick up?
Okie dokie. Don't let Mr. Ben Grimm bring you down. He's always breaking rule number 2. Don't be a dick. Let me show you guys some books. I got just my haul for this week, and I added 2 more just books that I should have picked up a while back, but I didn't get a chance to. But here's Venom number 31, I believe. Yeah, 31. Apparently, that guy, Noel is here. And he just, I'm sorry if you didn't read, spoiler alert, he just slurped up the earth and turned it into a horde of venomized everything. Here's Strange Academies number 6.
I just want to say that I love that, Marvel's initial idea for Venom was let's make more Venoms. And here, 28 years later, their idea is, what if we made fucking more Venoms?
King of all Venoms!
It's like a Venom apocalypse.
Right? Venom apocalypse.
That's basically what happened.
It's just color.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Strangely enough, 30 years ago or 28 years ago, I guess we'll use the same time frame. Marvel's idea on X-Men books was let's just make more fucking X-Men books, and it turns out right now that their idea on X-Men, let's just make more fucking X-Men books.
More cowbell.
Fine with X-Men.
Fucking
cowbell.
All the fucking cowbell. That's the problem. Sorry, Comics on the Mind. I totally stepped on you. Go ahead, brother.
It's all good. No, don't even trip. But Strange Academies number 6. I'm a huge Scotty Young fan, so of course I'm supporting his work. And he's writing this, and he definitely is a great writer. He's not just Cover artist. Sorry, Rob.
I'm being called elderly over here.
I mean, it's fair.
Yeah.
Yes, I have been suckered into the Power Ranger mythos. I got Mighty Morphin #2. I liked the first one. It wasn't too bad. I know I heard a lot of people weren't fans of it, but I'll still read it. Here's the infamous crossover. I didn't get a chance to read issue #1, so I just grabbed a copy. Can't wait to read it. Heard pretty decent things. Speaking of Power Rangers #1. I'm a sucker for Boom Studio. I love their stuff. Here's Marauders #16. Love me some Kimmy action, and Mr. Shaw is not in a very good position right now.
Didn't you just tell us
I hope
earlier
he gets
that
his
you're
just
done with
desserts.
X-Men?
What was that?
Didn't you just tell us earlier tonight you're done with X-Men? Like, no more X-Men. Enough with the X-Men?
Until these series are done, I will be done. I'm sorry, Marauders is good.
So you're
Marauders
going
is
to pick
good.
up all 18 titles.
Oh, no,
wait,
I'm
Sword
not reading
came out
all of them.
19.
Not getting that. Not reading Hellions, not reading Cable. We'll never read Cable. Sorry, I just don't like teenage Cable. Although I was really upset when Noel showed up in the King in Black and the X-Men came in. They made Cable look like the Cable we all grew up with in New Mutants, and I didn't like that because he's been known now for this teenage Cable. And I'm going to get off my soapbox. Here's Guardians of the Galaxy #9.
I like
I thought he was dead, but it looks like Star-Lord may still be alive. So, I don't know. We shall see. Really digged issue #1, but here's Giga #2.
Yeah, beautiful book, man.
Oh, yeah. I really
Beautiful.
fell in love with that story in issue #1. The art style was really great.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a book that I'm picking up that I haven't read. This is a great cover, though.
Purdy.
But I have all of them, and I've only read issue 1. What Dusty Brick Brown said, Marauders is one of the best titles. Yep, Marauders and Fallen Angels were the best. Fallen Angels was smart and ended on issue 12. Although I really fell in love with that group. I even can stomach Cable in there. That's how good Fallen Angels was.
like
and you gotta do a lot to
Marauders
make me stomach Cable.
Yeah.
I'm just on Marauders for Kitty. As long as Kitty is the flagship character of the book, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually get on stuff for Kitty too.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Meow meow.
Shout out to Robert the G-Man. Here's a beautiful redhead. Avengers #39.
Yeah.
Can't wait to read this. Guess who's back? Phoenix is back. And then last but not least, here's Detective number 1032, right? Yeah, 1032. Mr. Hush is up to his Hulu cable. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. I guess I don't get the joke. I'm sorry. I'm not smart. And I'm just beating myself up. I'm just but also I'm done. I didn't pick up anything else.
And it's
I do have
okay,
something in the
Ace.
mail coming.
I prefer illegal downloading to cable, Hulu, and all the above. Wait, did I just say that?
Hold on.
You heard me.
Hold on. Oh, so I should not give you this high five. High five. Yeah.
Oh, and here you were giving me a hard time for not buying floppies. Come on, man.
Right. I pay for all my media, you son of a bitch.
So do I. No, this is just a fake background.
This is the virtual Zoomcast background, everybody.
Yeah, it's not like there's a real fan. This is just a GIF animation.
I've been there, folks. That room is empty as fuck.
All these boxes are fake. There's nothing in them.
It's just paper, color printer, paint.
Shit, I shouldn't have grabbed that box. Now people know there's an actual box there.
All right, Comics on the Mind, you're all done. Mr.
Your
Worst.
turn, man.
Go ahead.
All right. All right. So let's
Be
start off with the
free.
Kickstarters. First of all, as everybody knows, I got Discordia this week. I tore through it, man. I couldn't put it down. It was really good. It was really good.
Oh yeah.
I really dug it. You know which story I liked? The two stories that dealt with soldiers. I mean, I liked all of them, but the two stories that dealt with the soldiers, I liked seeing it during and immediately after.
Mm-hmm.
No spoilers for anybody who hasn't read it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those were very enjoyable stories. I like I said, I liked all of them, but those were great.
Cool.
Here's another book for somebody we had on shortly after we first had you guys on. Actually, this is Department of Metahuman Affairs. Now, listen, it is not a titty book. Okay, my buddy Corey DLG Corey De La Guardia, he did this book. Just so you know, it is technically pronounced GIF. Anyway, so Corey did this book, and hold on a second. Yeah, that's about right. I ain't even reading that. One. So, if y'all listening, you're gonna want to look at your screen for that one. So.
Jesus, why he broke the internet?
Do you see how it's like four? All right, god damn it! I'm gonna read this. And you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it with a voice.
Do it.
Okay. Hold on. The year was 1989. Miracleman was getting a BJ from Helen Mirren inside of a 1975 Rolls-Royce Camagoo. I don't know how to say that. While driving down the PCH, mid-coitus, he looked up and a baby angel descended from heaven and delicately placed into his hands a CGC 10.0, Amazing Fantasy number 17. When Helen looked up to see what was going on, her head bumped into his hand and the comic flew out the window. Miracleman slammed on the brakes and searched for it for hours, but it had disappeared. Then on a windy evening in December of 2020, Miracleman went for a nude skip around town, as he's known to do. He sat on a rock, stretched his arms out wide, and what do you know? The wind calmly drifted the comic back into his arms in perfect condition.
You read it all wrong, you fucking coward.
Here's the thing, Ace. Are you stalking me? How do you know this story? Anyway, I occasionally get lucky. Occasionally. You know. So anyway, next up. Now listen, if you're a conservative in the chat, why? But welcome. And this might be a little bit of a triggering cover, but it is the second print of Savage Dragon number 253.
Woohoo!
Woo! Now in the first print, it says I support and back Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. This one is changed. Congratulations to President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris on their historic victory. Yeah. I'm not saying that our Not Near Mint text chat wasn't lit that day, but it was lit as fuck, y'all. Up next, we have Year Zero, Volume 2, Issue 2. Listen, I loved the first Year Zero. It was fantastic. This series brings us art by Juan Jose Rip, which is, fuck yeah, Judah. Juan Jose Rip is an absolutely phenomenal artist. He did a lot of stuff with Avatar. He did stuff with Image. He did this badass book called Clone with Image. If Juan Jose Rip is drawing something, I'm probably going to buy it. But the story
is.
These stories are fantastic. They're just like Volume 1. It's like 4 or 5 different characters, and they're following them. You get a couple of pages, and you get a couple of pages per story, per character. Then it switches to another one. So far, this one here is even more exciting than the first one. Very much enjoying it. 7 Secrets, number 5, Tom Taylor. Now, listen, I'm going to be straight up and honest with y'all. This is not art that would normally catch my eye. Not that it's bad. It's great art. It's just not my style. It's a little more animated. It's a little more cartoonish. I typically like things. I like art all over the place, but this isn't my normal stuff. This story is phenomenal. The art fits it perfectly. It's Tom Taylor, man. There's a couple guys right now that can't do wrong in comics. Tom Taylor is definitely one of those names. He could write anything and I'll read it. The next one that's one of those names right here, Mr. Donny Cates, issue 2 crossover. Now, listen, I dug the first issue, but there was you get the first couple pages was banging, and then the rest was kind of like building, and I haven't got to read this one yet, but there is a scene in here that is a direct homage of a Spawn scene.
Yeah.
And because this is yeah, and because this is an image book.
Crap! I thought I grabbed that one today.
because this is an image book, very good chance you might actually see Spawn. You just might see Spawn, maybe, possibly. You also kind of see Batman and Captain Cold, kind of.
A little bit.
Giga number 2, I got the variant cover, the B cover.
Oh, that is an awesome variant.
Right? Listen, this was one of the best news stories of 2020, y'all. If you missed that first issue, I think actually Giga number 1 cracked like top 10 books or top 25, something. It was like Vault celebrated it because they don't normally get that. But it was like it sold like gangbusters. Don't know if they went to a second printing. Hopefully they did. But if they didn't, pick it up and trade when it comes out.
I definitely like that one. It had the same effect that Undiscovered Country and what's the other one? Joy the Future had on me. Like right off the bat, it's like, holy crap! You're kind of you just like jump right into it.
It's such an epic world, and they very effortlessly handle kind of unfolding that world. Everything fits. You get it. You can tell there's a lot more that you'll need to figure out, but you get enough pieces in that first issue to get it, and it gives you an action-packed story at the same time. So just killer
beast, and he's in a wheelchair too. Come on now.
Right.
Relive. There's some of the better ones that are coming out from like the more.
That's another good one.
We'll call it mainstream independent.
Right. Smaller press. Let's call that smaller press.
Yeah, and that's why I really want to start picking up all these X-Men books so I can skip the smaller press books.
Right.
Sorry.
Then we got Avengers number 39. Go ahead.
Real quick. This is your tip of the week. Buy what you like, but how much modern X-Men do you really need?
Right. Pick the series you like, guys. Don't buy every X book. You will burn yourself out. We saw it in the 90s. And frankly, X-Men is one of those titles that led to the bubble bursting and genuinely almost sank comics in the 90s. A lot of people were done with comics. Up next, I got a book that I'm sure none of you got today. It's from Coffin Comics, Lady Death, Blasphemy Anthem. So this is actually Brian Pulido. Brian Pulido working on it. And the Coffin Comics, he's been doing this epic long story about Lady Death. This is chapter 10. You can't see that, can you? Chapter 10, part 1. Okay, so this book has been going on and on and on and on and on. It's really, really good. Really, really good. The original Chaos Comics that Brian Pulido founded and that Lady Death was a part of was literally some of my favorite comics of the 90s. It was I've said it before, I'll say it again. It was metal and heavy metal in comic book form. It was Metallica and Megadeth as comic books. It was badass. Now we got a couple of extra size books. And you know what, guys? I got 3 more books, and that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got this week.
Wow.
Very light week. Well, I got a boundless book. I got a boundless book, but I can't show it to you because we'll get kicked off the air. Here's how much I can show you. Here, I'll show you. This. I got Looker's Ember number 10.
Hey,
Miracleman.
Yeah.
Hey, Miracleman.
Yeah.
The after show.
Yeah.
Hey, Miracleman, why is her leg in the air?
Because she's relaxing.
Relax.
Is she doing a kick? Is she doing a kick?
She's not doing a kick. She is not, I repeat, not doing a kick. So Dark Knight's Death Metal. Let's get back to some nice, wholesome DC. Dark Knight's Death Metal, the last stories of the DC universe. Listen, y'all, you see the Teen Titans on the cover here, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, people getting this Dark Knight's Death Metal stuff is probably grabbing all the tie-ins. This one's a little pricey. This one's $9. It is a square bound. It's an extra big book. Okay. But if you are a Teen Titans fan, this book is an absolutely must own. Okay. There is a 2-page spread, and it was colored by Tamara Bonvillain. I think it was Tamara. I don't think it was Tess Fowler. I think it was Tamara Bonvillain. Tamara colored it. As she said, it was the most characters she ever colored on a page ever at once. It was a 2-page spread, but it is every single character that has ever been a Teen Titan. I mean, everyone. Okay, from the 60s on up. You had Golden Eagle. You had every Robin that ever existed. You had, remember in the I think it was early 2000s, maybe late 90s, they had a young team that was run by a de-aged Ray Palmer Adam, and it was all new heroes. It was like Prism, Risk, people that nobody ever cared about again. They're there. Even they are there. So next up. So listen, if you like Teen Titans, you have to get this book. Obviously, if you're reading Dark Knights, you got it already. If you like Teen Titans, get it. Okay. DC's Very Merry Multiverse #1. This is a $10 book, and I'll be honest with you guys.
Lord,
I try to avoid these now because I get sucked into these 80-page giants that are $10. They're one-off stories. They never really matter. They're fun story, but but listen, I'll tell you a couple things. #1, Captain Carrot is the greatest unused DC character in their pantheon. Fight me, okay? I will take that. I will fight anyone who disagrees with me on that. But here's the thing. This is fair enough. Here's the thing. You see a lot of characters here. This is a multiverse book, so you see a lot of characters here that are all throughout the multiverse. Y'all, you got Sunshine Superman. Let me tell y'all about Sunshine Superman real quick. Sunshine Superman is because and there's their Flash, actually, by the way, right there, that young lady right there. So Sunshine Superman is from the hippie universe. It was originally appeared in like a late 60s issue of Justice League of America. It was a one-shot tale, and it had all these hippie versions of the heroes on the cover. Disappeared, never to be seen from again until Animal Man. Grant Morrison did a Crisis on Infinite Earths cleanup story arc in Animal Man that involved Psycho Pirate back in 1990. And the Sunshine Superman, and I forget what their Flash is called, but they were in it. All of them were. And basically they got erased from existence and they went into limbo. Fast forward to Grant Morrison's Multiversity, and boom, there they are again. They have their own world in Multiversity. They're one of the 52 Earths. So listen, Captain Carrot, you put Captain Carrot on a cover, I'm gonna buy the book. It's just a rule. I'm not gonna not buy the book.
So what you're saying is you read this?
I have not even read it yet. I have not even. It literally doesn't matter. Captain Carrot and Sunshine Superman, my dude. I do not care what the stories even say. Those by themselves are good.
See, usually I always hate it when people give reviews of things that they have never read and they shit all over it. Instead, you keep nothing but praise on the book and you haven't even looked at it. I love it.
I'm not going to buy a book that I don't love for one reason or another. I could love it because it's incredibly shitty. I could love it because I thought the cover was pretty. I could love it because of some obscure little factoid. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to buy it unless I love it. And I'll tell you right now, every story in here could be crap. I got Captain Carrot and fucking Sunshine Superman on the cover, y'all. All right. Yeah. So anyway, last book. This is not come out today. All right. I'm going to tell everybody today, if you are a type of person that likes to buy books that you think might become popular and aka more difficult to get your hands on later, I recommend you get Wonder Woman Annual number 4. Does anybody know why I recommend you get Wonder Woman Annual number 4?
Does it have something to do with the future state and a Brazilian Wonder Woman?
Why, yes, it does, old-timey hobo Rob Wurst.
Old-timey and hobo-y.
Yes, as a matter of fact, so everybody knows Future State's going to be coming out with a new Wonder Woman. She's a little thick, which it's kind of cool. There she is. See, Dusty Brick Brown. That's the man after my own heart.
He knows where it's at.
So there's your Brazilian Wonder Woman. Steve Orlando introduced the Brazilian Amazons in Wonder Woman Annual number 4. So this new character, and listen, I'm not necessarily a betting man, but there's a couple of characters that I have a good feeling are going to stick around after that. One's going to be that one from Teen Titans, that Red X guy there. He's going to stick around. Yeah. He's going to stick around, which is also going to be the most valuable book out of all of them. Is probably going to be that one, y'all. Yeah. The Teen Titans number 1, Future State. But then you have the Brazilian Wonder Woman, and I think she's sticking around. You can never have too many Wonder Girls. You should, Ace. If you love Teen Titans Go, you should get it. So this book introduces that entire sect of Amazonians. It's going to be very important to the lore of Wonder Woman and potentially the DCU lore moving forward. Highly recommend you pick it up and get it into your collection before the speculators drive it into unattainable prices.
At this point, it's already going between 10 to 15, which isn't bad.
Really? Because I bought it off the shelf today at the LCS. It was $4.99. Nice. Yeah.
Annuals rarely sell that well. You can usually find leftover copies, but this one, I'm happy to see that it finally blew up. Random ass annual, because I picked up because I just pick up every issue of Wonder Woman. I did not even see a variant version of this, because usually I'd be seeing like a Josh Middleton something. Nope, just this cover. So pick up this cover, ladies and gents. Is this your last cover?
That's my last book.
Uh-oh.
That's it. That's it.
I'm not even going to show title cards. I'm just going to get through all my books real quick. Let's see how quick I can get through them all. So you already saw this. We got a second print of Last Ronin, and
awesome.
Similar problem to the first print. It is oversized. It does not fit in a modern bagger board. It does not fit in a Silver Age bagger board.
Have to do magazine.
I'll find one. I'll get a pack. We got Amazing Spider-Man Last Remains, issue 54, where Spider-Man goes through Groundhog's Day. He just keeps getting murdered over and over and over. If you hate Spider-Man, get this issue. If you like Spider-Man, get this issue. It's actually pretty good by Spencer.
Ooh, it's like that show on Netflix, Russian Doll.
Ooh, there you go.
That was pretty good.
Similar. Yeah. But all like really compressed. Right. So Norman Osborn, or rather Harry Osborn, is Kindred. Spoiler alert, everyone, but we already knew. He just drives Peter Parker mad, and that was fun to watch. I like watching Peter Parker go insane, and I'm a sociopath. And then there's number 39. This was actually pretty good, too. We have a nice little real origin of a Phoenix-like character that was Jean Grey before Jean Grey. Captain Marvel, haven't read this yet, but this is another future sort of story, and it looks like all the companies are loving this future stuff. Guardian of the Galaxy, a direct tie-in to the Null storylines, and oh no, Ace is taking the meds, and she's a little sleepy, and all she wants to do is complain about Jane Eyre. Sorry, Ace. Fuck Jane Eyre, but on a positive, everybody remember, Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, and Helen fucking Mirren. That's for you, Ace. Don't die. Well, especially when you have a glass table. Namor, King in Black. I don't know why I got this. Maybe it'll tie into a story. Probably not. Maybe they just want to see if a Namor title can float. The Art Adams copy of Strange Academy #6. I haven't read that one yet, but looking forward to it. Rise of the Ultraman #4. I have not read more than the first issue, so issue 5's the last one. Should be interesting. I'm a fan of that old stuff. Venom #31. This really felt like a fill-in issue. You could probably skip this issue if I'm being honest. It's Venom falling out of... It's Venom falling. It's one long issue of him falling. It's fun, but that's all it is. Juggernaut #4. Lucky that this is a mini series because we just have way too much fucking goddamn X-Men. All right, but I do like Marauders. It has Kitty Pryde. We already talked about Kitty and how much I love the Kitty. Why do I love the Kitty? I don't know. I just have a giant piece of her way up there, so shows you that I like my kitty. And I have cats. Sword #1. Again, I like the government aspect and I like the characters, but I don't know what this iteration is. Crossover #2. This was a fun little title. It moved pretty quickly. It's intriguing. There's not a lot of action, but it's okay. It's set up and we need to know what's going to happen. Giga #2. I have not read this yet, but I will. Unfortunately, I'm not digging the Norse mythology. I will be getting every issue just because it is Neil Gaiman, but it's just to me, this is personally. Personally, it's reading like a history book.
Oh no, that's one I am excited for. I'm going to pick those up eventually.
Yeah, I might sell them all to you, get real cheap.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. I might hit you up.
I love Gaiman. It's just that if you're expecting Sandman, it's not Sandman.
Sure. Yeah.
This is fun, though. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #112. I haven't gotten a chance to read that yet. I'm a couple issues behind. This is another jam piece between a bunch of creators and writers and artists and inkers. Who knows? I'll probably like it. I know that Paul Dini did some stuff in it. Here's that Teen Titans book that Miracleman was just talking about. I always love the short stories. It makes it really easy when I have about an hour, 2 hours to kill between cases. And tomorrow I have a non-jury trial, and it's one of those family sort of issues. Whenever it's a husband, wife, and you go, so which one are you rooting for? Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy with the husband and the wife? They're all the bad guys. So this is my one respite, reading comics in the middle of the day and somehow still getting paid for it. That was Detective Comics, by the way. And holy shit, Lee Bergermo. Dude, look at this Batman.
That's sweet. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Even if the story inside I never read, I will always keep that just because it's Lee Bergermo. Now, I have not read that Endless Winter, but I do hear that this is part 2.
It is. That's a badass cover.
And a lot of people did not pick this up because they did not realize this is part 2. I didn't pick up 1 because I just did not need another goddamn event. And while I say that,
Lock and Key in the Sandman universe.
Wow.
Okay, I love Lock and Key. It is Gabriel.
No
It's the original writer, original artist. Yes, please. Gabriel Rodriguez.
Wow.
Yes, please. I love his art. Also, we get some more of this Tales of the Dark Multiverse, but this time it's Flashpoint. Hey, Flashpoint, if you're out there. And
you got Flashpoint today? I don't think I saw Flashpoint.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and grab that tomorrow.
See, this is why we do these shows. Sometimes we go, fuck, I missed that book. Thank God you showed that. I might it entirely.
Luckily, my shop buys a huge pile of those.
Yeah, mine too. They're overpriced, but they're good reads. They're fun. Even if they're throwaways, it's a fun read. And speaking of
I like
fun
Vindicator. That was one I really picked up.
This is my last book. It is Wonder Woman, the newest issue. This looks like Middleton. I could be wrong, but oh my God, is this hot? But do you want to see something really hotter? Because I did get something really, really hot. I think I'm allowed to show this.
Is it smoking?
It's pretty much smoking. I mean, I really have to thank Miracleman for starting me out, putting me on track to getting all this Dave Stevens because of him, I wound up picking up the Planet
I
Comics.
knew it. I fucking knew it.
Pretty.
Because of him, I picked up the DN Agents, the final issue.
Oh, I want that one too. Yeah, I love her hair, dude.
Only
But
one that's tough to
because
find.
It's so difficult to find some of these in really nice condition or even at all. I picked up this.
Gorgeous cover.
And I look
So-
on I'm paying $300 for this, but I'm going, I just want the Dave Stevens. Give me all the Dave Stevens. Send me your Dave Stevens. If you've seen these three, these are basically the only three I got now. I have one that's like Planet of the Gods #6 that's on its way for the last 2 weeks. It's just stuck in Indiana. Hit me up on a DM. I'm looking for Dave Stevens, and I'm looking for a couple spare issues that I'm going to mail on over to Miracleman on DMs.
Ooh.
And now I think we should possibly talk about deconstructing supervillains.
Da, da, da.
So we have a creator on the show that reads some comics, creates some comics, knows a little bit about some comics. So when you're looking at supervillains, reading supervillains, what is it to you that makes a good supervillain, Patrick?
Well, I guess let me start by talking about my favorite supervillain, which I did think about a little bit before this. I prepped this part. My favorite and I don't even know if this is fair to say that he's a supervillain, but I think he's definitely a villain. My favorite villain character is the comedian from Watchmen.
Yeah, I would definitely
Nice.
put him in that category.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely a villain, but I don't know if he's a supervillain. I don't know. I think it's probably semantics at that point, but I think what makes him the best character or the best villain is that he's a dark reflection. And that's true. You can talk about that for Batman and the Joker too. Although I think the reason I like the comedian so much is because he's a direct reflection, and a very dark one at that. Yeah.
So do you think that with supervillains that when they're first created, they're obviously not going to be the final version of a character, whether it's somebody created from the 1940s or, even Punchline that was created just this past year. It's going to take many different writers and artists working on characters before we see a finally fleshed out version. And even nevertheless, we get portions where somebody goes, this timeline where this person was writing this character, that's my version of this character. When this person writes it, they don't even know who they're writing anymore.
Well, that's how we end up with it's the Three Jokers, right? Is the new DC book where they couldn't square that circle because there's too many versions of the Joker. Yeah, So that's the danger of that, right?
You know, clearly DC has their favorite villain, and it's Joker. Clearly, very clearly. But you know, DC I think does themselves a disservice. You know, Batman's rogue gallery is excellent. Flash's rogue gallery is excellent. Wonder Woman's is kind of Green Lantern's is good, but you know, he doesn't have a huge rogue gallery. Like most of his are dead or gone. You know, it's some random space alien nowadays. You know?
And Sinestro when he's
Black Hand alive.
No, but he has a black ring.
That's true. Then you have the Evil Star. I think he's dead. You know, so a lot of his villains are gone. But personally, I you know, and I'll say this forever and a day. Superman has the best rogue gallery, maybe in all of comics. Maybe there's a couple characters that I could put up there. Spider-Man's. I'm not a Spider-Man fan, not even remotely. There he is.
I was thinking of Brainiac too. That's the
So in his original appearance,
off of my
this
head.
would not be my favorite supervillain, but in the subsequent years, he became my favorite supervillain. So it took many writers, many iterations. It took even the more recent animated 1990s Superman animated show to even throw in more bonuses on top of who Brainiac is to make us go, damn, when this thing comes to Earth, we're in trouble. Oh, he's hooking up with Lex Luthor? Oh, good luck, Lex.
Action Comics 544 is when they take, mad scientist Lex and they put him in that green power armor suit, and they take green skinned humanoid Brainiac and they put him in that weird, much more robotic looking body. And, those are really, for me, I mean, anybody in Rob and my generation, that's really Brainiac and Lex Luthor there.
Yeah, the 1980s superpowers, that animated show where those toys were coming out, that was our childhood. I remember the Batman with the yellow insignia and the blue underwear and the gray outfit. But then it was Mr. Dini and Mr. Tim doing the Batman animated from the 90s post 1989 Batman movie.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was the Batman I was like exposed to besides like Michael Keaton Batman.
Right.
So looking at Null, just in that newest issue of King in Black, we know very little about the character. We know that he just wants to destroy the universe. He shows up and in basically one line of dialogue goes, "My name is Null, and I'm here to kill your world." We really know nothing more about him other than he just wants to destroy everything. Is that an interesting villain, or is that just an interesting looking character, and we're still waiting for the rest of his backstory to make him want to even care about him?
We kind of get a little bit of his backstory. Don't we get a little bit of his backstory in Silver Surfer Black? Or am I tripping? Because we know he just wants to and he just wants all of darkness to to be everything to invoked into darkness because he hates the light. Because he was everything until creation.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm thinking of some of the best new villains created of modern day, I'm thinking somebody like Gore the God Butcher. Reason for wanting to murder the superheroes. Make it so that I can see your side and somehow agree with you. After watching Gore lose his family and then trip over this black creature fighting a creature of light, going, what the fuck is this shit over here? Wait a second, let me pick this up. Well, it looks like I got some power now. Did I just kill a god?
You're dead.
Looks like I can finally do this. And you know what? I've lost so much. I'm tired of losing, and I don't want anybody else to lose what I've lost. And all of a sudden, you just created somebody with a backstory that I feel I have some empathy for. If I feel empathy towards your bad guy, the older I get as just a reader, I don't even care if your story makes sense at some point. As long as I feel something, you did your goal. If I like your bad guy, if I can feel for him a little bit, you did your goal.
Yeah.
What
That's
do
how I
you
feel
guys?
about.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say, what do you guys think about how capable a villain is? Like, if a villain constantly is able to foil the main characters, does that make them a good villain, even if they don't have a good backstory necessarily? If they're just so almost insurmountable, like every time you think like, oh, okay, character X has got him, then no, there's another wrinkle.
I mean, to a point, Magneto was like that at first, where he was taking on the X-Men, and you did not know who was behind that mask until all of a sudden you had this guy, Eric Lenscher, show up, and he was in World War II. The Nazis imprisoned him. He was this older Jewish gentleman, and he understood the mutants' plight, and then all of a sudden you go, holy shit, that motherfucker's Magneto.
Yeah.
But all the way up until then, he's just some guy in a helmet that wants to take on the mutants. Why?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Now give him a story.
You know, you say a villain that is always capable and is always winning. Do any of you guys read Irredeemable and Incorruptible?
I'm aware of it. It's supposed to be fantastic.
No, never heard of it.
So listen, I'm just going to be 100% real here. Mark Waid, written books.
Oh, nice.
Irredeemable ran like 36, 38 issues, maybe 40 issues. The first 30, 35 bangers. Kind of felt like near the end he wasn't really sure what to do with it anymore. He gave us a great ending. The wrap up was a great wrap up, and I won't ruin it. Even though it's 10, 15 years old at this point. But it was a great wrap up. It was a phenomenal series. But basically, Irredeemable is Superman. He goes by the name of Plutonian in this world. Essentially, is Superman.
Okay.
But he is not Clark Kent good. He had, what I think he had? He had the Pa Kent from the Snyder films, where he was kind of like, don't really help people. Yeah, right.
If you save people, they'll discover who you are. Oh,
right.
Wait a second, Dad. Are you telling me to be selfish? Yes, son. Sometimes you have to be.
Right. It's that Ayn Randian type of Superman. And
that's a shitty Superman.
That's a shitty Superman. And to prove it, so I'm just going to tell you the opening scene of Irredeemable is the Batman character rushing back home into his Batcave, calling his family down, freaking out, saying, we need to get the hell out of here. He's finally snapped. And as he's turning around to escape, as he's turning around to escape, Plutonian shows up and just fries him with his heat vision and kills the whole family. That's the first 4 pages of Irredeemable. Okay.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious. Incorruptible.
I'm already sold.
Incorruptible is his chief supervillain, who's basically like, he's not really bad. He's a crook. He's more like one of Flash's rogues. Yeah, they're bad guys, but he has a code, and and he's a
Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, maybe more.
I was
maybe more Captain.
Thing, yeah.
Maybe more Captain Cold than Boomerang.
Or Captain Cold. Yep.
Captain Cold during the Wally West run. Right. And he sees Plutonian went bad, so he decides he has to go good, because if Plutonian goes bad, there's no way there can be that many bad. The world's gonna die. He knows the world will die unless I turn and try to help. So it's it's a companion book, and it's him trying to be a good guy now in a world that is terrified because Superman at any point could just show up and kill him. He literally sinks an island, like an island nation that pisses him off at the UN, by striking it with meteor. He just flies up to space and throws meteors down until the island sinks. So there's a hero turned villain that he was Superman essentially, and Superman never lost. He's never going to lose as the villain either. And now you get to really see what it's like when the villain always wins, because Irredeemable is one issue after another of Plutonian winning, and he is not a good dude.
Yeah.
So that really kind of, I think, ties it up right there. What makes the what level of win-loss makes a good villain? Because there has to be a mix, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're always losing, that's pretty boring.
Like Dr. Light back when he was still brain scrambled because of the Zatanna situation, are you saying?
Maybe a little more pathetic like that, yeah.
Unscrew his mind, and now all of a sudden he's capable, but now he's just super creepy.
Yeah. And there you go. See, now you're holding up a perfect character. That's an example here. Dr. Doom. Is Doom a villain?
Literally in this issue, he wins. Like, I don't know if anybody's like reading this series, but like, spoiler alert, it's been out for a minute. But like pretty much the Earth is like about to get sucked into this black hole that they try. Doom told them like, "Don't do this." Ah, you got me, Captain. Har. And I know, right? Thank you. And basically, they didn't listen to Doom, and it opened up this black hole that pretty much killed hundreds of people that they ended up blaming on him. The sabotage, which wasn't his, it was just their bad science. But like, he's like, I'll help you, but you have to let me take over this area that's been giving me crap. So they basically give him the okay to like invade this area and expand his nation, and he helped save the Earth. So it's like, if you have Dr. Doom, like you really get a taste of like the human he is in this series, not the villain, not just the villain, but the human that he is, you know. But he is a very dark person. Like in one issue, he makes his like the closest that he can say that is like, you know, family to him. He made them kill their mother in cold blood. So it's a really good series. But I think Dr. Doom, like he's my favorite. Like Annihilus is my favorite supervillain just because he just like wreaks havoc everywhere. But like Doom is just like he appeals to me like intellectually because like he's almost on like he wants to do good, but it's almost like you kind of have to listen to him in order for like to live that utopia that he wants to create.
His problem is he's a narcissist. He is brilliant. And the problem with him is, as a narcissist who is brilliant, he thinks everybody and anybody around him is an idiot. And
I don't know if you read Secret Wars, but that God Doom was my favorite version of Doom.
My favorite is irredeemable, strangely enough. And I know that I rail against Brian Michael Bendis, but I still think that's editorial over at DC. But I really love the direction that they were trying to go with irredeemable Dr. Doom, or irredeemable Iron Man, however they wanted to call it. But for me, Dr. Doom has always been the ruler of a country, always under pressure. And no matter what, he's going to make the wrong decision. So he really doesn't care what anybody ever really thinks about him. He's just going to act because this is the right thing to do. And under the right writer, you could really make the case for that the Fantastic Four give no care about international law when they go to invade his country to do whatever they're going to do and meddle in whatever situation that Doom is trying to do for his people. But in reality, Doom is just an asshole that wants to further his own power and his own goals, but he's doing it for the other people. So he's a bad guy in the same way that Walter White was a bad guy. No one that's a good bad guy ever thinks that they're a bad guy, because anyone that thinks that they're a bad guy, no one gives a shit about.
Except, what do you think about the Joker? The Joker thinks he's a bad guy, or he knows.
So yeah, you have the sociopath villain, right? And your sociopath villain, they may know they're bad, they just don't give a shit. You know, and you have a lot that fall under that. Bullseye, he doesn't care. God, I just had another character in my head. You know, the polar opposite of that is Sinestro. So, you know, we all know Sinestro is a bad guy, but if you talk to Sinestro,
he's doing it for the right reasons.
He's doing everything for the right reason. He took over his Korrigar, his home planet, because he wanted to protect them. You know, he fights Hal Jordan because Hal Jordan can be a better Green Lantern, and he wants to teach him to be a better Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he started his Fear Corps because he wanted to have he doesn't believe that will save people. He believes that fear saves people, because if you're afraid of something bad happening, you'll avoid it. You know, so but yeah, you have your sociopaths, you have your bullseyes, you have your jokers, who know they're evil and just don't give a shit. But, you know, by and large, probably your better villains are the ones who think they're not the bad guy. They're not the villain of the story. the hero is.
Or it's kind of like Professor Zoom, where he thinks that everything he does to fuck up the world of the Flash is in order to help him.
Right.
He thinks he's doing good
Yeah.
by doing evil.
Did any of you watch on Amazon Prime? I know this isn't comics, but it's a show that has a comic in it, so I think it counts. Utopia.
Oh yeah.
Anyone watch that?
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's I guess without too many spoilers. I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
But there's some bad guys who think they're trying to save the world. Actually,
Yes. So that movie has just so everybody knows, it does have a comic. It has 2 graphic novels in it, and while I greatly and immensely enjoyed it, I will say I don't believe the writer of that show is familiar with sequential storytelling. in book form.
The comic books are not. Yeah, that's true. The art looks great, though. I thought it was very cool.
Fantastic. It's basically a collection of splash pages. Is essentially what it is. Is how they do it.
But like way more chaotic than
yes.
But it's But that's sort of part of the charm.
Right.
That's almost like me saying the creators of the Queen's Gambit didn't understand comics as they were making a show in the 1950s, and yet used comics in their convenience store spinner rack from the 1970s and 80s.
Yeah. Well, hey, they tried. They're like, hey, this comic looks old.
He didn't even try at all.
To 1970s to fucking casuals looks old, bro. Like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean?
They could get the right cars from the era, but they couldn't spend a couple bucks to go, hey, any comic fans out there? All right, I'm already off on my soapbox. All right, I know that y'all wanted to wrap it up a little bit earlier tonight. We have Lady Fantastic that's taking the week off. Hopefully she will be back coming next week. So let me go ahead and promote her first since she is not with us, just to let everyone know. Lady Fantastic is on Instagram at Caro_syrup84. She does comic auctions and claim sales pretty regularly on her YouTube channel. She also does something called the Saturday Morning Cartoon Crew. Check her out with Tacoma and some of the other guys over there on Saturday morning. Sometimes it's usually Saturday afternoon, but just check out her Instagram for all that. Now, we do this little thing that's just called Promote Yourself right around here, and I couldn't think of a better person to throw it to other than Patrick. Go ahead. Where can people find you and what's going on in the world of Patrick?
All right. So I have a Kickstarter going right now for 2 spin-off titles for our Discordia series. So you can check that out. That's on Kickstarter. It's The Rotted Liar and Apocrypha 1. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Instagram's probably your safest bet to follow my art stuff, and that's Patrick Buer Art on Instagram.
All right, and we have Dustin Brown saying, great conversation. So what about Apocalypse? Would he lean towards Magneto archetype after Doom, or another villain trope altogether?
That's a good one.
You know, I think Apocalypse, Doom definitely fall into a closer, Apocalypse, Magneto definitely fall into a closer camp than with Apocalypse and Doom.
This idea,
you know,
same with like Thanos. Like they're trying to do Thanos in comic books is a little bit different because he's just trying to impress Lady Death.
Yeah, he's trying to hook up with Death. Yeah.
How about that? Totally unrelated, but how about that end of the Thanos series where Death's just like meh and walks away from him? He's like, "I've killed everything. What do you want, woman?" Man, talk about every one of my relationships.
They could have ended it.
Hey, just remember.
Go ahead. Remember what?
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say.
I was going to say like.
You talk, Comics on the Mind. And dead air.
I was going to say like just remember like what that issue where Deadpool like got Lady Death over Thanos.
Yes, did not work out well.
So I don't think she's too impressed by him.
Punisher kills the Marvel Universe, where everybody that was wronged by a superhero hires the Punisher to just murder every single superhero and supervillain. You get to the very final page, and they're like, "Oh my God, thank you for killing every last superhero and supervillain. I can't believe you could do it to every single last one." And he goes, "No, there's one last one to go." Bang!
I
It's
knew
like,
it.
whoa. Still one of my favorite of all time.
Wow.
But go ahead. Why don't you go
Never
ahead and
read that
promote
one.
yourself, throwing it over to Miracleman.
So this Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be joining my girl, Erin Siffer, over on her Twitch channel. We'll be doing a little hour or so long comic show. We will be having my very special guest friend, Mr. Rob Wurst, on this Friday evening.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Rob Wurst coming to Twitch, ladies and gents. And he's going to be hanging out with me and Aaron on our show. On Saturday, I will be appearing on my friends' I Freaking Love Comic show. I believe that's at about 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. I think it's 2 p.m. West Coast time. So that's 5 p.m. East Coast time.
And I think I'm joining you there as well.
I think Rob's joining me there as well. So it'll be my homeboys Judah and Robo and Ree will all be there, and looking forward to doing that. Other than that, come on by and see me on Twitter at Komodo1977. We can talk about comics. We can talk about politics. And we can dunk on some chuds, which is probably my favorite pastime on social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Other than that, thanks for watching tonight, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, Comics on the Mind. Because if you're here and you're watching YouTube at 11:30 on a Wednesday night, you got this gentleman.
Pulling some comics out of my head. What is up, everybody? As you guys know, besides this show, I do another show on Thursdays with my co-host, Gorilla Todd, aka the Todd Father. And we do a show called The Teacher's Lounge, where we talk about teaching and comics and everything else in between. You don't have to be a teacher to join us. Come on by, talk comic books, talk teaching, talk life, and just build community and have a great time. I hope Whack Comics and Shattered Glass Comics are still here. What's up, Tyler? I did a collaboration video with them. It's on their channel, Whack Comics. If you haven't checked it out, it is hilarious. We did a little spoof / review of finger guns. It's hilarious. Please check it out. I want to do more of that. But besides that, you can find me on IG, here in the chats, lurking and communicating with you guys. And I'm just glad everybody came and love each other. And like you said, rule number 2, don't be a dick.
Damn Skippy. Well, I guess on that note, I guess it's up to me to just sign off with the rest of this show. So I do want to let everybody know on a special note, Matt, the boy who had 7, this gentleman has done comic gories. He's been with us on the YouTubes, on the comic community for the last 3+ years. Tonight was his very final show. He might even still be live now, so thank you for those that have stuck with us. If you did not, otherwise, you might want to check out his last broadcast. It's called It's Time to Say Goodbye. That also streamed the same day today, started at about 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And otherwise, just go wish him well on his new ventures over on Instagram and on Twitter. He's also the boy who had 7, and you can find him both there. Otherwise, let's see here. We have over at the comic book shop that I wind up using. It's called Miami Fresh Comics. My dealer, his name is John Freshly. He does these YouTube claim sales and auctions. Sometimes he does them in the middle of the week, but he will be doing one this coming Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Last week, he went until 5 o'clock in the goddamn day. Oh my God, he has so many books. It's like looking at this room and going, I want that, and I want that, and I want that. Wait, how much is everything? Whoa, maybe put that one back. But he has a lot. Why do you think I have all this? Oh, yeah, because I've been reading and collecting for 34 years. Jesus, I'm old. So this has been the Not Near Mint crew. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for watching us, whether it's the live viewers, people participating in the chat, those that watch on the replay, those that are watching in the year 2030. And if I'm still doing this and my hair is all gray, then thank you for watching me when we were young and Kirk over here had his nice full beard that wasn't quite down to his toes yet, because that's coming soon to a theater near you.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it to pepper too.
This man will be doing movies in 2030. Look out for that. And Miracleman will be starting the Golden Age. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. We will be. Oh no, what happened? Is Ace saying stuff in the chat? Of course she is. No, she's gone. Good night.
Good night, homie. I love y'all. We love you too.
You did amazing, Mind. Yes, you did amazing, Mind shift. All right, so let me go back to the banners to try and close the show out. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, our regular time. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. But let's be honest, I only do this show once a week, every week, the same time, 10 p.m. Eastern. So next week is episode 69, dudes, which means we're going to be doing a game show episode. That's right.
What is that game show?
Fuck, marry, kill, comic book edition. But this time, between Miracleman and myself, we're going to be putting together, maybe a little bit with Lady Fantastic, the indie comics version of Kill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So look for that. And we might also be having special guest Anthony Sika. I've been speaking to him. He's a comic book artist, and I'm looking forward to speaking with him soon. So otherwise, join us next week. And thank you very much. My name's Rob Worst. You can find me on Twitter at Rob Worst, on Instagram at Not Near Mint. Usually I post once a day unless I'm busy. I was busy yesterday and today. Hopefully not tomorrow. Hopefully leading into the holiday season, we can slow down a little bit, have a little bit more fun, maybe spend more time reading bullshit doom scrolling stuff like iCarly getting not even a reboot. It's just coming back. I didn't ask for that, but maybe Ace did. Ace actually did ask for that. So again, Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, Helen fucking Mirren. One day I might meet her and she might go, why is this weird dude with the sunglasses always saying my name? I mean, thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for the promotion.
Good night, everyone.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Of course. And I'm on mute. Rob dropped out. That's hilarious. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is there we go. He's back.
I'm gonna try closing that out again, because I tell you, I do this once every episode. This is the first time I've done it this way. So let's close out the episode part 2 all over again. Good night, ladies.
Bye, everybody, again.
Round 2. Fight. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to see this episode again, along with a catalog of back episodes and issues, surf on over to Not Near Mint on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Rob Wurst, Lady Fantastic, Miracleman, and Comics on the Mind will be back next week. Same time, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Not Near Mint.